Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So, as the title of this video and what I'm holding gives away, today I wanted to chat to you guys about this year's Junk Journal July challenge. But if you're new here and you haven't taken part in a Junk Journal January or Junk Journal July before, you've got no idea what it is. Basically, it's a month-long Junk Journal challenge that I host over on Instagram, but there will also be content here on YouTube. And essentially it's a prompt list that you can interpret however you want. You can do every day, you can do them in order, you can do them backwards, you can just pick different ones that you want to do. It's totally up to you. It's really relaxed, and it's just a fun way for everyone in the community to kind of work on it together. I love seeing kind of people's takes on different things for inspiration. So I've already had a few questions about Junk Journal July, so what I decided to do this year is set up an email newsletter. So I will leave the details for that in the description down below, where you can sign up totally free. Don't worry, I'm not selling out to anything, but essentially it's a way that you can be notified as soon as the prompts go live. And you have all the information to hand. So even if you're not kind of on social media, maybe you don't have an Instagram, then there'll be a way that you can still access the prompts. I usually have them up on kind of a Dropbox link to download. So if you are looking forward to this, then I would definitely recommend signing up down below. And then I will be in your inbox sometime in June to let you know all the details. So that way you'll get all the information as soon as everything goes live, and then I will be just dropping by your inbox every week just with some encouragement, showing you some of my favourite takes on each of the prompts. And there might even be some exclusive little freebies, hint hint, so definitely sign up, totally free like I said, but it's just a way to make sure that as many people as possible can take part in this, because I think that's the fun of it as well. And also the collaboration that we normally do here on YouTube, that is happening again, so stay tuned for the details of that. I can't wait for that as well. So this is the journal that I completed last year. So if you are looking for maybe a way to get out of a creative rut, or you want some inspiration, or you just want to create along with a community, then I would definitely suggest joining us. This is the journal that I created last year. And I did an accordion journal, and we were all obsessed with accordion journals. I'm not going to do one this year, but if you do want to make an accordion journal, then I will leave a link down below in the description box where you can learn how to make one of these. Honestly, it's super easy. You don't need to do any sewing, any binding. If you've got some paper and a glue stick, then you can make this. So I'll leave that down below, but I wanted to do something different from an accordion. I kind of wanted to make something similar to this, but I just like to have a journal that's like for the challenge. So this is kind of just a normal everyday junk journal that I have, and I've got the same scrapbook paper because I absolutely love it. But what I'm going to do is probably coffee dye this and then use this as the cover. I'm going with A6 size just because I think that's going to be super manageable, not overwhelming, especially if you are looking to, you know, take 10 minutes each day to check in with the challenge and do some creating. Then making a smaller journal, I find, is a lot easier. And also what I have here, if you've been staring at some of the beautiful florals just off to the corner here, so this was a photo album, it's not really a book, that I got recently from a charity shop. I don't know if it's fully fitting in frame here. I wanted to zoom in so you could see the details of me making this journal, but it's a photo album, and the pages are really quite thick because you slide in photos from the top. But I wanted to see if I could potentially use some of this to create maybe either some pages or some sort of element, because I don't think I'm going to use it as is. It's very beautiful, but it's not like, it's not old or anything. I think it's just from like, I think it's from the 90s, so it's not like antique or vintage or anything like that. It's fairly modern-ish, so I might see if I can use some of this, because I love the kind of different like circles and ovals that we've got going on within this. So like this one here, or even this one. So, or in fact, maybe I keep turning the page and going, oh, actually, maybe this one instead. This one's quite nice. So yeah, so I thought possibly I could use this, but I'm not sure. But I wanted to show this to you guys because if you have any ideas of how you would use this, I'd love to know. I don't think I'm going to use it as a book in its entirety, so please don't be mad that I'm gonna take some scissors to this, but I just wanted to show you guys because the illustrations in this are beautiful. I'm just gonna fold this in half. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just brush some coffee over this, just so that we don't have such a stark white cover. I do think it looks quite nice on my other journal, but I just fancy something that's a little bit different. So I'm just gonna grab just a paintbrush, and I've got my coffee off to the side here. And this is the same process really for doing like tissue paper and things, is that I will literally just brush the coffee onto whatever I'm dyeing, and sometimes I might leave like extra bits of coffee in certain sections to encourage it to go a little bit like darker and lighter in certain sections. Okay, so as usual, I've got a variety of different papers. A standard like staple classic in my junk journals is some tea dyed paper, or this is a little bit thinner because it's just packaging paper, and so I'm just going to roughly kind of measure this up, because with it being a junk journal, I'm not too bothered if the pages are like slightly off or different sizes, so I'm just going to kind of roughly guess it. There's no measuring around here, as you know, and then we will kind of trim anything that needs to be trimmed when I'm assembling it. If you want like a full-on talk through of like the different papers that I use for things like this, then I will leave a link down below to my kind of in-depth junk journal tutorial, where I go through kind of the papers I use and the full like assembly process, without me just chattering a load of nonsense in the background, which is probably what I'm going to do. You'll see here I've even got like, I think this was, we must have ordered something, and obviously the address and everything was at the top, but the bottom of the paper was like pretty much blank, so I just ripped it off, dyed this, and I thought that the lines were pretty cool, so I thought this could be something that I can use within my journal. And I might just leave in the kind of rough edges just to add some interest on the journal, because it doesn't have to be like 100% precise. So these are all my kind of plain sheets. I think because you've got to have a nice balance between like things with words and things on them, and then also plain pages that you can do things with too. So I might do another one of these, and then that might be enough for this type of paper. Now I want to add some sheets of vellum to this journal, because I've been working on some vellum journal pages recently, and I would love to use this in my journal for July. So I'm just going to, I just ripped that and then fold that into, there's A6. I think the other reason that I love A6 journals or A5 is that you can just fold the paper in half again, and then that's the measurement it needs to be. There's no further sewing or measuring required. So let's just pop that in there. I'm just going to use some full sheets and just see what we come up with through the month when I reach these pages. And now I just want to add some pages for interest. So I have a doily here, and this probably isn't great for like an actual page, but maybe I could put it sort of at the beginning, maybe. I might need to trim off the top of the doily though, because that's hanging over a little too much. Okay, so I have my finished pages, and my cover didn't coffee dye as much as I wanted it to, but I can always come back in and add some more to that. So there we go, that's kind of how it will look. It's a little chunky, but that's okay. And so I was thinking about this, and I'm really not sure because it's quite thick, so I don't know how I can actually use it. I might have to use it in another journal. I'm not sure. Answers on a postcard, what you think I should do with this. But I don't think I can use it at the moment. When I was going through my scraps of like papers and things, I found this paper bag that had like loads of different patterns on it, and I've kind of cut off the ones that I liked, that I might use kind of within the journal. But it also had this little section, and I thought this could be really sweet to use as my little title in the same way as I've used it here, because I just want to add on that it's the Junk Journal July journal. So I'm just going to cut this out with my little fussy cutting scissors. Luckily it's not too intricate, but I just think this will hopefully be a nice fit for this journal cover. But there's how it will look, and you can kind of see through it a little bit. So what I might do is just add some backing to it so that it is nice and opaque on there. So I don't know, I'll just pick this random piece of tea dyed paper, just grab my trusty Pritt stick, which I've had some questions recently actually about whether I like trust Pritt stick and whether it like comes apart and stuff. Honestly, I've never experienced that. Maybe I haven't had my journals around long enough to experience that, but I feel like if something just like falls off, worst case scenario is I'll just glue it back on again. So I'm totally fine with a good old-fashioned Pritt stick, or I believe it might be an Elmer's ? In the States, I'm not sure. Or Mod Podge. Do Mod Podge have glue sticks? I don't know. In the UK we just have Pritt sticks as kind of the standard like office supply like staple glue, and so that's kind of what I've always used, and I've found that it's been perfectly fine for what I am doing. You know, I'm not like a scrapbooker, so nothing's really, well, I do want to keep it, but it's not like, you know how people buy archival stuff? I'm not really doing that, so maybe if I want things to last I should actually think about that. I don't know, but at the moment a trusty little Pritt stick is good enough for me. There we go, I've just added a layer to that, so now it's nice and transparent. So no, it's not transparent, it's the opposite of transparent. It's opaque. It's opaque. I didn't want it transparent or translucent even. You know what I meant. It's also a little bit wonky as I'm looking at it now, but honestly I think we'll live with that. That's perfectly fine. Does it bother? It bothers me a little bit. Let's chop it a little bit. There we go. So the last thing to do now is to sew this in. So I'm going to need some more thread. I've had this piece lying around and I kind of want to do that, but then it's a little bit bright, so maybe I'll stick with, I think I'll stick with an olive green. As I've said, I don't do embroidery, but I did get some secondhand once, and it's basically what I use to bind all my journals, and I will do until it runs out. Normally you measure your holes. I don't do that, but what I am gonna grab is just a like a bulldog clip type of thing, just to hold everything in place so it doesn't start moving as I am working in the journal. And then I'm basically going to sort of aim just for the middle, roughly, just eyeball it. There we go. And so once you have done the binding, then just going to like gently just pull it kind of this way, just to make sure that my thread is nice and taut and nothing is loose. And then I'm just going to give this a good few ties just to secure it in place. I think I just need to add the title on here, so let me grab my, where is my pen? I've been loving my little Delphonics pouch for things. So let me just write junk journal July, not January. I know throughout was it last January I kept calling it July, and then in July I keep calling it January. But this is junk journal July, so I'm just going to write that on the front here. Maybe I'll do it in pencil first actually, especially because I'm doing it on camera, because I feel like whenever I do things on camera it's always like the pressure of doing it. So it's in here somewhere, there we go. This is my pencil case. It's from Typo, if you're wondering. This isn't going to be too thick, but I think this pen, I've used this many times before. It's one of my absolute faves. There we go. So that is the journal that I'm going to be using for Junk Journal July. Let me know if you are looking forward to Junk Journal July, and don't forget to sign up to that newsletter, like I said, so that you'll be notified when everything goes live, as soon as it goes live. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.